seen so many of the purists who really love it turn to struggling artists because they're not benefiting, whereas dudes that ain't got no talent is benefiting, you know what I'm saying? So it's just definitely a period where it's been dead. I'm just bold enough to, let's be talented. You know what I'm saying? Let's make music that's gonna move people, that's gonna be daring and bold. Let's do something that radio might not play. Let's do something that we really feel in our hearts is really saying something to
Peace, family. We are back again, and today we will be discussing how Nas attempted to save himself and to save hip hop. Right? He tried to save hip hop artists, and he don't get a lot of credit for it. But we're gonna discuss that right now, right? So let's get into it. The year is 1993, right? A young, stylish, fly kid from Queens, New York. You know what I mean? He comes on the scene live at the barbecue, right? He makes his first appearance. When I was 12, I went to hell for snuffing Jesus. I'm waving automatic guns at nuns, right? That's how he came in. He came in rhyming like that, right? And by people seeing that, and you know what I'm saying, like, oh damn, yo, it's this kid out of Queens who's, MC Search was telling everybody and putting everybody on. It's this kid out of Queens who, he real nice, and he's like a new Rakim. He's like the new Rakim. You know what I mean? And he's poetical. His way with words. You know what I'm saying? His rhyme schemes, the storytelling. It's like, it's textbook. It's textbook. Like Nas is textbook. Like, you know what I mean? If you could create the perfect MC, it would be Nas. You know what I mean? So when this kid is seen at live at the barbecue, everybody can't wait to anticipate his debut album. You know what I mean? Which burst Illmatic, right? Illmatic. You have a young Nas, young teenager, right? He was making it when he was about 18, 19, 19 to his early 20s. You know what I mean? I think he dropped it at 21. And this is off the basis, but for the young kids today who say, "Oh man, we young, we should be able to not rhyme a lot of words, and we should not have to know how to rap that good because we young. We should just do the trends." You got to keep in mind that Pac wrote Brenda's Got a Baby when he was about 20. Nas did Illmatic when he was like 20. You know what I'm saying? So BG dropped his first album like 17, talking about real life stuff. So we gotta the dumb down element is something that we don't have to accept just because you young. Understand that? And if you go back to young Kodak Black, you know what I'm saying? Young Kodak Black was nice. But back to the lesson, right? So Illmatic, right? Illmatic is born, and it becomes the first hip hop album in the mainstream to break as far as, so up until this point you had like every rapper usually had his producer, and they was like hand in hand. You know what I mean? Like in today's times, you see Alchemist and Bodie. They collab a lot. You know what I'm saying? Ransom collabs with um Nicholas Craven a lot. You see what I'm saying? So it was more like that, right? But then on this album, this Illmatic album in '94, Nas begins the super produced album. You know what I mean? I would say by the all-star producers who believed in Nas so much that they all like, yo, I gotta take part in this masterpiece that we putting together for New York, right? And you had legends like P Rock production on there, DJ Premier, you know what I'm saying? Q-Tip, Large Professor, just to name a few, right? Just to name a few, all on this album, right? So this album drops and it becomes the zenith of what a pure hip hop album is supposed to sound like, right? No commercial joints, no joints for the ladies having to, you know what I'm saying, no disrespect to the ladies, but having to dumb it down to find the women something to dance to, just pure bar storytelling, elite storytelling, rhyme scheme, subject matter, flow. What's your favorite song on Illmatic? Put that in the comment, man. Illmatic is legendary. My favorite joint, by the way, is Memory Lane. It got legendary samples on it. It's a masterpiece for the hip hop purists. It is, you know what I'm saying? And even to this day, it's still held as the greatest Nas album, and by some, the greatest hip hop album to ever exist. You gotta understand that, right? So this is hip hop. This is hip hop gold. This is hip hop gold. This album is hip hop gold, even still held to this day, and it dropped in '94. The year is 2025. So let that sit. You know what I mean? Now, again, this album drops, and the purists held it as the greatest thing to ever drop. Right now, something's happening though. Right after this album drops, Nas cop a whip, he cop a chain. He get fly. He got a little more money now, but you know what I'm saying. When he take a look at the competition, you got Tupac in '94, coming out of jail with Big, coming out of jail with Big Suge, you know what I'm saying, and Death Row, and now Pac is on the Versace, you know what I'm saying? Pac is on the Versace, and Pac is making big radio joints, because the whole All Eyes on Me album is big radio joints. It got a lot of they got like Shorty Wanna Be a Thug, and they got subject matter on it too. However, this was the album that Tupac made for Suge, right? Suge told him, I need something, I need something. You know what I'm saying? And Pac gave him a lot. You had Scandalous on there, you had Ambitions of a Rider, you had so many To Live and Die in LA, just big, huge radio joints. And on All Eyes on Me, to me, All Eyes on Me is the best album ever. If you just talking like just pure, uh, you know, great music, like great radio joints, and it's just all that. It's a double disc. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you're looking for that, it's not my favorite Tupac album because of that. But I'm a hip hop purist, to a fault at times. My favorite Tupac album is All Eyes, not All Eyes on Me, Machiavelli, Seven Day Theory. You know what I mean? I feel like Tupac was going back into Tupac, but All Eyes on Me was the album that he made for Death Row, and they needed big radio hits, and they needed something to go. They was trying to go against Puff and Big, and Puff and Big was dominating the radio. Puff and Big was dominating the radio. They was coming with the R&B joints. They was doing the remix, and they would always put the R&B single on there. And as Nas is looking at this, a young Nas is looking at this, he see Pac and Big, getting so much more money, getting so much more fame. And he dropped the greatest purest hip hop album of all time, but he's still living in the projects, right? Nas is still in the projects every day. So now Nas is getting a different perspective on this music business, right? Nas is looking like, man, it's not, I could sit here and rhyme for the guys all day, what I'm saying, get hella props. But man, I'm not gonna make the big money off that. Even though this is my true, intrinsic motivation is to be a great black poet of the modern times and say what's really on my mind. It seems like to make money in this game, I'm gonna have to change up my sound a little bit, right? I'm gonna have to create something new, to get the bag like Big, get the bag like Pac, and this is what he does, right? This is when Escobar is born, right? Escobar, Nas Esco. I love Esco. You know what I'm saying? I love Esco because if you look at Illmatic, right? Illmatic era of Nas, you see a poet writing from his project window in Queensbridge, right? I rap for listeners, priorities and prisoners, And then when you get to Esco, it's something different. We in this bitch deep, wavy hair, chit teeth. It's just it came with a different bravado. It was more arrogant. It was more cocky. You know what I mean? And I rock with both versions of Nas. I rock with all versions of Nas because we got revolutionary version of Nas. We got all kind of Nas versions. You know what I'm saying? Like Pac. So, but yeah, this birthed the Esco Nas. The fly Esco with the mafioso Nas. You know what I'm saying? The Nas that put the big QB chain on. This is Esco. This is Nas. You know what I'm saying? This is the firm. This is the firm Nas. This is Escobar. And he needed this because, like I said, at the time, before Big, let me set the scene again. Big and Puff brought New York out of the dark ages of hip hop. And when I say dark ages of hip hop, I'm saying that before then you had like the grimy nigga, you had like Onyx, you had like Wu Tang, you had like you know it was the dark era of New York hip hop, and when the West Coast was dominating the charts because the West Coast was more fun based music, kind of like the South is today, right? The South used to be, it's falling off now, but the South used to be known for the fun music, and that's how the West Coast was in the early '90s. The West Coast was known for the fun music, and New York, which catered to the radio play and catered to the casual fan. And New York at that time was keeping it so raw and so gritty and staying true to the true essence of hip hop, right? That it was so dark, you didn't need background dancers and all that. You didn't need all that, and that's why Big came on the scene. Big came with Puff, and they switched up the game. They went flashy like the West Coast. They was flashy like the West Coast, and they brought in that whole Big Willie New York style. And Jay-Z was part of this. Jay-Z was part of this. So even when Big transitions, right, Jay-Z carried his throne of the Big Willie fly New York nigga. This is Big, and this is Jay-Z, Puff, and Big doing this first, right? We play Monopoly with real cash. Me and Biggie and the models be shaking they Diddy ass in front of these something you got to see. All and the rocks be all shakes and stones. Being broke is childish and I'm quite grown. Run up in the spot with the ice on me. Come on, man. This is how him and Big was rhyming. They was rhyming the flashy Big Willie shit. You know what I'm saying? The Get Money nigga, the Versace shirts and the gold bottles of champagne, and you know what I'm saying? This is how Big, and this is why Big love Hove, right? Because he's like, yo, this naturally just a Get Money nigga. This a Get Money nigga. And he relate to him, right? And he from Brooklyn too. So him and Big, they was putting on because Big was a fly nigga. Big started off with the black tin black hoodie, but Big was a fly nigga, and then that Nas is peeping that out, and Nas went in on that, and then Escobar is born, and then you get It Was Written, right? You get It Was Written. Now, when It Was Written dropped, right? Some of the Nas fans from Illmatic seen this album as more of a commercial attempt by Nas, and it was, but it needed to be done, right? It needed to be done because Nas needed to not just sound so New York to the point where like it's only gonna just be a regional joint, right? Because like I say, Big is everywhere. And one thing that helped Nas get on to that level was If I Ruled the World with Lauryn Hill, and the Fugees was huge at the time. The Fugees was huge at the time, and If I Ruled the World, drop. And I remember I was a kid, I was 6, I was 5 or 6, but I remember like seeing that video. That was the first time I ever heard Nas rhyme. You know what I'm saying? And I was locked in. You know what I'm saying? I was locked in. So, and this one had the hook. If I ruled the world, imagine that. I real see this is something that Illmatic didn't have. It didn't have a lot of hooks. You know what I mean? It did, but it didn't. Where like the girls could sing, the casual fans could sing, even if you didn't know, the verses, the three verses, you can catch up with the I Ruled the World, and you love Lauryn Hill. So It Was Written took Nas to another level as far as stardom and as far as getting that bag, you know what I'm saying, and fame. And Nas's core fans didn't really appreciate that because they felt like, man, I understand the game, but damn dog, you don't forget about us, don't leave us behind, but this is the game. Now Pac and Big, later on out to let this is a bar. Tupac and Nas had a little incident, as y'all know, but Tupac was before he transitioned, Tupac was a huge fan of It Was Written. You know what I'm saying? He was a huge fan of It Was Written. They even say on the way to Vegas, he was playing It Was Written. You know what I'm saying? The day he transitioned. So, that's just a lesson for you. Now, Big later on gets assassinated too, right? Now the Nas and so the Nas and Jay-Z issue start at the point where if you ever look at the Monopoly table, the Dead Presidents video with Nas and Jay-Z, right? Well, it's not Nas. It's the Jay-Z Dead Presidents video, right? Where they playing Monopoly with the real cash, and you got Big over there, you got Jay-Z over there, you got AZ over there, you got Biggs, and that's when they rolling the dice and they dissing the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Oh shoot, hey yo, LA, I'm gonna take all that money, right? So they whenever Biggie throw the dice, he blow the dice, he say, "Who shot you?" Taking a shot at Pac. This is before Pac died, but so Nas was supposed to be there. Nas was supposed to be there too, right? Jay Z wanted Nas to be there. Dame Dash is there. Uh, Nas was supposed to be there too, right? However, Nas didn't show up. Nas voice is sampled in that. I'm out for presidents to represent me. Yeah, that's Nas. For those that don't know, that's Nas voice that sampled. And not Jay Z wanted Nas to show up and support him as a New York regime, the New York regime at the table. But Nas didn't show up. Right, he stood Jay Z up, and that began their fallout. It began their fallout because Jay Z had it. Jay Z kind of felt slighted by that. He didn't feel embraced by Nas. He wanted to feel embraced by Nas, but Nas didn't embrace him for whatever reason. You know, um, so the rivalry is built. The rivalry is built, and for years, after Big died, they go tit for tat over subliminal bars at each other, right? They both had a song called "Come and Get Me." Jay Z's "Nigga, I keep the fifth with me, nigga, come and get me," and then Nas got a song called "Come and Get Me." See, they was taking shots at each other for a long time. Uh, Nas baby mom, Nas and his baby mom falling out. She sliding with Hove. She sliding with Hove. You know, a quiet man that used to be at home planning. Baby mom thought I was too quiet. She couldn't stand it. She hit the streets. Later on, she hit in the sheets with a rapper that wanted me on his song, thinking he's strong. I told her how to watch for cars that might follow. I taught her street shit that I know. Her weakness was shine though, but that's her. You know what I'm saying? It made me stronger. Now I get my paper longer. You gotta understand. Nas baby moms was sliding out on him because she felt like Nas was too much of a strategic, deep thinking, conscious brother. Right? That's when you think of Black Girl Lost. Now when you think of Black Girl Lost, you understand it, right? Hey yo, what you doing tonight? Now this nigga in here talking this old back to Africa, 5% of shit. You know what I'm saying? Nah, girl, not that guy body shit. Yeah, where the ball is at? That Chris style. See what I'm saying? That's Nas saying, yo, these sisters they don't even want a nigga like me. They don't even want the conscious nigga. They want the big Willie niggas like Hove. See, Nas created Escobar, but Escobar is just a part of him who he had to create for the labels. You know what I'm saying? To kind of get away from the true him, which is the black conscious poet man, the deep thinking brother. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it's like how Pac had to go more into the gangster bag. You know what I'm saying? From the original black poet that he is, because this is what sells. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to get in, you kind of got to step away from your true self as an artist, right? To kind of blend in with what's going on, right? And that's the whole purpose of this whole build. So again, Jay Z and Nas are polar opposites at this time because Jay Z's the big Willie flashy nigga naturally, right? And that's what Big liked about him before he died. But Nas is the true poet, but Escobar is his character that he created to blend in with the big Willie niggas who was coming into the game. But deep down, he's just a black conscious poet, and he can't get away from what he truly is. You can never get away from the foundation. Nas' father is a black he's a black poet. He's a black blues player, jazz player. You know what I'm saying? And he can't get away from that. It's in him. You know what I'm saying? Not Tupac's mother is a Black Panther, and he can't get away from that, even if he got lost in the character. You know what I'm saying? Now, back to the bill, right? So, at this time, it's a changing of the guards. Jay-Z had a bar. Jay-Z said, "You held it down long enough. Let me take them rings." And just like the mission, the commission remains. Cross the T's and dot the I's. Now that I got too popular to cotton them pies, I'm taking this rap shit serious to my demise. Jay shit like Kate Miss, watch me rise in the basement, asking my dog for advice. And when he can't say shit, my hatred is you just give me a sign. You just give me a sign and let the world know that the city is mine. Right? So after Big died, Hov is planning to take over. Show love to Big, but he planning to take over. And Nas take a shot at that bar. Nas later on say, man, it ain't, and these niggas using your name in the vain, and they using your name in vain, and they saying that they New York's king. It ain't about that. I plan to toast it up with you, the most official. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, these niggas already plotting your throne. These niggas ain't real. That's how he seen Hov. So, Jay-Z, they continue throwing shots. Jay-Z, is that your chick? Why y'all on this with the hand on this? You know what I'm saying? Is that your chick? They still throwing the subs at each other, right? And back then, you got to think, you niggas don't have Twitter and they don't have Shade Room and all that to put the YouTube to put these pieces together. You had to kind of know, you know what I'm saying? So they taking jabs at each other for years, and Jay-Z is getting more powerful and more powerful than us because see, Jay-Z is better at making the Big Willie, big radio, mainstream songs. He is, because it's truly him. It's a hard not life for standing on the corners bopping and dropping some of the hottest verses rappers ever heard. You see what I'm saying? And then Jay-Z had Big Pimpin', Spinning Cheese, say Poppy. Even if they don't understand the flow, they understand the dough. I got them saying, go, hey, Poppy. What's another one I can think? I'm just shooting off the top of the head, too. 6 a.m. Now we up in the club. 7 a.m. DJ made it a rub. 8 a.m. now getting with her. So this is all the joints that Jay-Z had, and he had more. I'm shooting off the top that I could remember. You know what I'm saying? Both in the club, high singing off keys, and I wish it goes down. Order another round. Jay-Z had joints. Jay-Z had radio joints, nigga, and Nas couldn't keep up with that. You know, Nas just couldn't keep up with that. I'm a diehard Nas fan, but Nas just couldn't keep up with that. Pac could do both real well. Most black poets can't do both well because they have to dumb themselves down a little too much. But Pac could do that well. Kendrick does it well. Does it well. Not as well as Pac, but he does it well as far as doing the mainstream too. Cube could do it well. You know what I mean? But Nas is so pure that he can't do it. Can't do it. When he tries, it don't come out right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, shorty, say what you like, just to back it up and get all my eyes. Now you owe me back like 40 acres to blacks. It's like, what? Owe me back to 40 acres to blacks. Nigga ain't trying to hear that in the club. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga ain't trying to hear that. That's why Jay-Z said, nigga, your shit is garbage. You trying to kick knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga in the club trying to find something to smash on you, and you talking about 40 acres to blacks. But Nas couldn't. He's so pure as a thinker and as a black poet that he, even in his club joints, the nigga putting conscious shit in it. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, Nas trying his best to keep up with that commercial. That commercials, how he go get Diddy, you can hate me now, but I won't stop now, cause I can't stop. You got Diddy talking arrogant, Diddy got Nas in the fur coats, this Escobar coming through, nigga rapping on top of the roof, real big fly shit, you know what I'm saying? But, this ain't really Nas though, this ain't really Nas, man, this ain't Nas, but, he just trying to play the game so he can, what I'm saying, just keep the money going, and he need that. Keep the money going. He need that. He gotta play the game. So, but it's a losing game, right? So by 99 drop, Jay-Z is on top. Jay-Z is on top. Can I get a what? Well, it's just who don't love hoes. They get no dough. Can not, man. I'm telling you, Nas could not keep up with that nigga Jay-Z, bro. What is it? What? What's the one? What's the joint he had? H to the is O, V to the is A. That's the anthem. Get you. Come on. Hove is back. My life story told through rap. You niggas acting like I sold you crack. Like I told you sell drugs. Nah. Come on, man. You know, Nas, Jay-Z see the flaws in Nas commercial music. He like, yo, that nigga shit is whack. That nigga really ain't fucking with me as far as this commercial mainstream shit. You know what I'm saying? And Nas dropped the, Nas had, Nas is like, when Nas is like is fire, but then he came with the nasty, Nas the Escobar, it's Nostradamus, SD, Nas the Escobar. It was whack. I don't care. Niggas try to say, "Oh, that's hard." Nah. We could be Nas fans all we want, but we ain't gonna lie. That was whack. Nasty, Nas the Escobar, SD is Nostradamus. Yeah, and then Jay-Z like, fuck that, man. We didn't got to the point. Radio on our side, everybody on our side, cause it's the cash cow. Just like an American gangster. They say, yo, keep Frank Lucas alive, keep Frank Lucas out, cause he the cash cow. So many niggas eat off the cash cow. Right, so you gotta understand that's kind of like when Drake and Kendrick was going at it. Everybody following, everybody in the mainstream want to side with Drake as far as the radio and the podcast for the most part because yo for so many years he held us down. He the cash cow. Yo, we making bread off him. You see what I'm saying? So this is how the game was looking, and looking at Jay-Z at the time. Jay-Z is the cash cow now. And even though Nas is the pure poet and everybody love Nas and respect Nas's pen, this mainstream game is something different. And if it go down, we rocking with Jay-Z. All the artists know they looking at the Jay-Z because Jay-Z got the ice, he got the money, you know what I'm saying? And he on top of the game, he on top of the charts. So Jay-Z say, fuck it, man. Me and Nas been going at it for years. It's time to settle this. Jay-Z dropped 2001. Jay-Z dropped The Takeover. The takeover, the break's over, nigga, the God NC, me, Jehovah. Hey, little man, y'all ain't ready for war. All C too strong for y'all. It's like bringing the knight to the gunfight, pen to the test, putting your chest in the line of fire with your thin ass vest, bringing the boys to men. How them boys gonna win when this is grown man B.I. Get you rolled in the tree, biatch. Your reach ain't long enough, Dunny. You know what I'm saying? Your peeps ain't strong enough, sucker. Rockefeller is the army, better yet the Navy. Niggas kidnap your mom, shoot at your baby. Come on. So, kill the grandma. Answer with the sludge hammer. Don't bring it to me, none because I overdo it. So you don't confuse it with just rap music. Right? This is Hove coming at Nas, breaking down Nas album sales. You know, one of the two. Your last one was due. One was Illmatic. The one was that's a one high album every 2 year average, and that's so lame, nigga. Your shit is garbage. What you trying to acknowledge? You niggas gon' banging on Nas. I can't sit here and say the whole takeover, but he was banging on Nas, and niggas is like, yo, Nas, it's a rap for Nas, bruh. Nas is done, and Nas was done. Like, Nas was down. He was down. And the only way for Nas to survive is, Nas' mom is sick at the time too, right? So Nas going through a lot. His career, his mainstream career is down, is going down, and also on top of that, you got, he's dealing with his own, like, man, I need to try to, what am I doing? You hit a point in your life sometimes as artists where you just like, man, what am I doing, man? I have, in the midst of me trying to chase the money and the fame, I have destroyed my own self, which got me here in the first place, right? Being uniquely you is always going to be the best bet, and to be uniquely you, it's the individual that gets remembered. So for Nas to win this battle against Hov, Nas has to channel his inner self. He has to go back to the essence. He has to go back to Nas, back to the grill again. You know what I'm saying? Where it all started. And he has to channel the ancestor, which is Tupac, right? So when you hear that, when Ether drop, and hear that Jay-Z, nigga, I know you ain't saying my name. What? You? Jay-Z. That's Tupac on that. That's Tupac voice sample saying Jay-Z, right? So Nas bringing the ancestor with him. We gonna crush these. We gonna crush these Big Willie niggas. Let's do it. The black poets against the Big Willie niggas. You know what I'm saying? And that's with your soul like ether. You know this. Got something across the belly. You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas deal with emotions like bitches. What's sad is to say I love you. You traded your soul for riches. My child, I watch you grow up to be famous, and now I smile like a proud dad watching his only son that made it. You seem to be only confused. You seem to only be concerned with dissing women. When you abused as a child, scared to smile, they called you ugly. Well, life is harsh, hug me. Don't reject me. I make music to disrespect me. Blatant or indirectly. In 88, you was getting chased to your buildings, calling my crib, and I ain't even give you my number. All I did was give you a style for you to run with, smiling in my face, glad to break bread with the God. Nigga, no chain, no cars. This Hawaiian shirts, hanging with Lil Chase. You a fan, a phony, a fake. See a stand, I still whip your ass. You 36 in the karate class, Tabo ho, trying to work it out. You trying to get brolic. You ask me if I'm trying to kick knowledge? Nah. I'm trying to kick that shit you need to learn though. That ether, that shit to make your soul burn slow. Is he Dane Diddy, Dane Daddy, or Dane Dummy? Oh, I get it. You Biggie and he's Puffy. Rockefeller died of AIDS. That was the end of his chapter. And that's the guy you choose to name your company after. Put it together. Come on, man. Nas came back with a vengeance, nigga. And took Hove out. He took Hove out. You know, now Hove didn't win the battle. He didn't. You know, he survived it. He survived it though. He didn't win the battle, but he survived. But the Rockefeller crew, people didn't pay attention to this, but they were dismantled shortly after this battle. So Nas did destroy Rockefeller in a sense, right? They never was the same again after that battle. You know, but Jay-Z went on to go do other things, but Nas did win that battle, and you know, Jay-Z he beat the king at the top of the mainstream at the time, which was Jay-Z, and you know a lot of people didn't think he could do it, but when the battle come, it go back to the essence. That's what we just seen with Drake and Kendrick, right? When the gloves is off and all the mainstream stuff go to the side, it comes back to the essence and who's the nicest. And Nas, you know, Nas is just this what Nas do. But if Nas tried to come with the Escobar shit, he wouldn't have beat Jay-Z at the flashy game. He had to go back to the poet, to the Queensbridge poet, and you know just chop at Jay-Z and call him out. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the money in all the label sales and who sell the most records, nigga. Let's do it this way. And that's how Ether beat the takeover. You know what I mean? But something happened after when Nas channeled his inner self to win that battle, right? It was the death of Esco. People don't realize you never seen Escobar again after that. People don't realize that Escobar was done after that Jay-Z battle because Escobar was a character. Escobar was just a character that Nas created to join the Big Willie movement and the mafioso movement that Big and Jay-Z and them was doing, right? That Big and Jay-Z and them was doing and all them, but it was never truly him. Even though we love that version of Nas, the flashy, you know, Big Willie type, but that's not him. You know, and that's why you never seen that again in 2001. He went from the revolutionary side. You seen him, he got the godson across his stomach like Pac. He's more in line with Pac. Nas was always more in line with Pac. He's a poet. He's a black poet. You know what I mean? And he started embracing his Pac. You know, he started embracing Pac even more. He was able to, now he can appreciate Pac more. You know what I'm saying? Sadly, Pac is gone now, but now he can appreciate Pac a lot more in the what Pac was up against. And he realizes how you can lose yourself in a character like Pac did, like he did with the Esco character, right? Destroying your true self to be more like Jay-Z. And that's why when you see Nas going at Funk Flex and all the radios, he's like, hey yo, we gotta stop all these rappers destroying themselves to sound like the nigga that's on top. You know, he go after Cameron. He go after, yo, Cameron, you can rap, but step your rhymes up. What is you doing? He going after Nelly. You trying to battle KRS-One? He calling the whole game out. Now Nas is unapologetic like Pop, right? He calling out black celebrities who buck dancing. He going at everybody. He unapologetic from this era from 2001 to 2000. I say 2008. Nas is unapologetic. Nas is on his role of just, he's on his pop mode, right? He's on his, man, I'm calling all this shit out. You don't like it? He even called out Outkast when Outkast started doing the shake it like a Polaroid picture. Now it's like, yo, what's up with this? What's up with that? You know what I'm saying? Uh, like, you sound black, but your records sound like you give your nuts for a plaque. You don't ride for the facts like Chase Scarface. Y'all too fake, you know. So he calls them out on, these are our heroes, right? He calling out everybody, calling out Kobe, he calling out everybody. So Nas is on his revolutionary. This is who he truly always been. You know what I mean? But he had to keep his mouth closed. But now he's to the point where he didn't beat Jay-Z, and now it's to the point where it's like, yo, I'm done with all this. The radio is destroying artists because it's make artists try to sound like the niggas who's on top. If you gotta sound like the nigga on top, then that means you destroying yourself to sound like him, right? But you gotta understand that it's like GMs in the NBA, right? They don't understand the game. They just play copycat. It's copycat. If this is what works, to go. So if you find if the hottest rapper is sounding like Jay-Z, everybody gotta sound like Jay-Z. If the hottest rapper is sounding like Young Jeezy, everybody gotta sound like Jeezy. If the hottest rapper is sounding like Young Thug, everybody gotta sound like Young Thug. You get my point. This is how labels work, and this is how the trends are born, and this why all artists sound the same, right? And this, before it got to as bad as it is now, it was already bad. But it's before it got to, see, because think about this, in the '90s, DMX didn't sound like Nas, and Nas didn't sound like Jay-Z, and Jay-Z didn't sound like the Hot Boys, right? Everybody had their own unique sound, right? So if it was on radio, big radio, boom, 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 and everybody sound different, you would get a taste of everything. But then now I seen it getting to a point where it's like, oh, everybody's trying to sound like this, right? To the point where even I'm trying to sound like that. So this is what's killing us. The mainstream making, okay, we're gonna make this hot. This is what's hot right now, so you gotta come with something like this, right? That's not really A&R. Who's your A&R? A man climber who plays an electric guitar, but he don't only mean another dope. That's Jizza, right? So Nas is like, yo, what we doing? So Nas goes on on a thing to try to call out big radio, and he's telling everybody like hip hop is dead until we fix this, right? We got to fix this, and it is dead until we fix it, you know. So Nas begins to push boundaries. Nas is pushing boundaries, and he's calling out labels. Excuse me. He's calling out labels, for not getting behind him when he tried to be creative and do something totally different, right? But that he's feel like that's what an artist is. An artist is able to, in other genres, artists can say what they want and be who they want to be without being told what to do. And this is I'm gonna say this verse. This is I'm gonna read it. This is one of my favorite Nas verses. I think it's extremely overlooked, right? This is when Nas was pushing for the nigga album, right? Inspired by the great Baba Dick Gregory, his book. You should check it out, right? But the labels was pushing back on it. Now the labels will let black rappers talk about tying up your mama and doing this and doing that. But if you try to come super creative or super conscious, you know what I'm saying, they would push back on that. So Nas is pushing the boundaries with the album title Nigga, right? So he came with these lyrics, right? It's universal apartheid. That's Universal is the label. It's universal apartheid. I'm hogtied. They got him. He's a slave at the label. It's universal apartheid. I'm hogtied. The corporate side blocking y'all from going to stores and buying it. First LA, that's LA Reid, was riding with it. But Newsweek article startled big wigs. They said, Nas, why is you trying it? My lawyer only see Bill My lawyers only seal Billboard charts as winning. Forgetting Nas, the only true rebel since the beginning. Still in musical prison, in jail for the flow. Try telling Bob Dylan, Bruce, or Billy Joe they can't sing what's in their soul. So entitled it is, I never changed nothing. But people remember this. If Nas can't say it, think about these talented kids with new ideas being told what they can and can't spit. I can't sit and watch it. I'ma drop it. Like it or not, you ain't gotta cop it. Come on. Come on, man. That's Nas. And that album is super overlooked, you know. That's Hero. That's Hero. That's Nas Hero for those that don't know. Uh this is one of the hip hop's best verses and one of hip hop's mainstream most important verses, right? It's talking about how artists signed to these labels are hog-tied and they silenced and yo Nas, man, you need to sound like this, man. This is what's hot. And Nas is just like, man, let me do me. I'm the artist, nigga. You be you. You just put the album out. Let me be creative and talk to my people. Hip hop was a thing where we were supposed to talk to each other, right? It's a way for us to build with each other and talk with each other. Let me do me. Let me build. And that's what Nas is going. That's what Nas is going out on a limb for all artists, right? So he goes on to hip hop is dead. Now young artists don't appreciate this, right? They see Nas as, oh, this old nigga hating now, right? He hating now because he calling us whack. He want us to rap about something real. This is coming down during the Jeezy era, right? The Jeezy era where niggas is like. Patty cake, microwave, bake a cook a square, goddamn I'm paid. So Jeezy not feeling that. Jeezy like, man, why that nigga like get out? Oh fuck nah, he dissing Nas, right? But he didn't understand the big picture, right? He didn't understand the big picture of what Nas was fighting for. Nas was fighting for all artists to have a true sound and to not let radio dictate what's hot, because radio don't know what's hot. But if they dictate what's hot, the fans are going to follow it, because the fans follow what's on radio. The fans follow trends. So Nas goes on this. Nas for years is fighting for all artists, right? When he said hip hop is dead, he's fighting for all artists. Yo, we gotta stop lowering the bar to let these niggas in. And radio, it plays a big role because radio is playing the whack shit. You know what I'm saying? Like and if I try to be creative and stand out with my art, y'all won't play it no more. So the Fugees will never get played in this era. You gotta understand that the Fugees would have never got played in this era, right? J. Rue the Damager would have never got played in this era. You gotta understand that. Badu would never get played in this era. Tupac, early Tupac, never get played in this era. So this is what Nas was fighting for. And that's why he say hip hop is dying, because artists can no longer say what they want to say. You have to sound like what's hot to get in the game. And all artists, even to this day, sit back, watch what's hot. The label say, "Yo, okay, we need something like this," and then you put it out, and you don't realize you destroyed yourself. You destroyed yourself as an artist to sound like the nigga that's hot right now, right? To blend in with the rest of them, right? And it's so bad now that rap fans that hear you, you know, I'm a rapper myself, right? And some rap fans hear me and they like, yo, I can't rock with him because I don't know who he sound like. Nigga, I'm not supposed to sound like nobody. That's the, you know what I'm saying? I'm myself, nigga. So artists, you know, fans have even lost touch on this, and fans they want you to, when they first hear a rapper, they want you to sound like somebody. And this is what Nas was trying to break fans out of thinking and stop radio from playing this type of game, right? So now we see today's artists as all clones, right? All these artists are clones, and they all sounded like, when you hear radio, one song, you might have heard all of them, right? You might have heard all of them. So, you know, to chase money. So as Nas is trying to chase money and success, he lost himself, right? He lost himself in this battle, and he's trying to save other artists by going out there and fighting for them so they don't make the mistake that he made trying to chase Jay-Z and Big, right? Because you got to keep in mind that Tupac was the one that told Big, yo, if you rhyme like this, you know, then you could put the real stuff on the radio, but you need this, right? And then you got to see Big, even RZA said it, you know, Pac had the stress on his words, the Hennessy, you know, and then Biggie came with the BIGPOPPA. He put the stress on his too. I love it when you call me Big Pa. So then you know the copycat era began, And that's what Nas did with the Mafia. He followed the Mafioso Big Willie, and that's how you got the Esco, right? But later on, as he battles Jay-Z, he destroys that and rebuilds himself to who he truly was. And this was to save all artists, right? Even though Nas didn't get appreciated, later on, Jay-Z even, came out and said that, truthfully, I rhyme like common sense, but I made so much money off Big Pimpin', I ain't been rapping like common sense, right? But later on, Jay-Z began his conscious run, and he killed Jay-Z. He ended up killing Jay-Z, the character. In the 99 Problems video, when you see him get gunned down, that's him symbolically telling you that, yo, this character's gone. And then in 444, he kills him again with the self-titled track album called Kill Jay-Z, right? So this is him going into his conscious mode, and you get 444. This is who I really want. I always want to run like common sense, but it wasn't the time. But now it's the time. He signed Jay Elect. So Jay-Z is always like conscious rap. He just knew it didn't sell. He knew it didn't sell well. But Nas was so powerful at the point where, as far as like, he loved the art so much that he just said, forget the charts. Yo, let's just make something that's real. And if all artists would have got behind this, it could have helped. But when you leave the lone man out there by himself, they can get you like that, right? They can get you like that. So this is why J. Cole, when J. Cole came out, J. Cole first, he was doing the straight hip hop thing, and then next thing you see J. Cole in the Versace shirts with the chains on, trying to be something he's not. Making the same mistake that Nas made, and that's why he made the song Let Nas Down, because Nas was looking at him like, yo, what you doing? You supposed to be one of the ones. You supposed to not follow me down that road. You supposed to make the mistake. You're not supposed to make the same mistake. You know what I'm saying? So this is why Nas was trying to save the game, and he don't get a lot of credit for it, but for those of us that do appreciate Nas and the bravery that it takes to stand out alone and go against all the major radios and all against the casual fans who's telling you this ain't hot, man. You need to sound like this. This ain't hot. You need to sound like that. Come on, man. We do like, yo. We gotta be thankful for artists like Nas. I think we should give more flowers to people while they can still smell them. You know what I'm saying? Nas deserves all credit. You know what I'm saying? So on that note, that will summarize how Nas tried to save hip hop. Right? Peace.